In the inheritance lesson, you learned about the is-a relationship. So, since the animal class is inherited by all of these other classes, the instance of any of these classes will not only be of the type from which it was instantiated, but it is also of the animal type because animal is the parent of all of these classes. Into these classes. Here is the lion class, which extends animal, and the lion has just one constructor which takes 3 arguments, and it is setting the values that it receives through these arguments to the instance variables which are present in the animal class. So if you click on the animal class, you will see that animal class has nothing but the 3 instance variables that is inherited by lion, and that's what is being initialized here, the values that it gets from its constructor, and then it has one speak method. And then if you look into the zoo class, zoo is instantiating this lion using that one constructor, and it's calling the speak method of the lion. Speak method just prints out what each of the animals says. And that's what is being called here in the zoo class. Now that we also know that lion, any instance that you create using lion is not only of the type lion, but it's also of the type animal. So if you come back to the zoo class, we instantiated a lion and we initialize that to a variable which is declared as type lion. But we now know that this can also be changed to animal, and this line should still compile without any issues because the lion is also an animal. This is going to be fine. So let's find out. So for that, Java C, zoo.java. So what do you see? It threw a compile time error, but if you look at the line number 5, it's at this line. Lion.speak is where it's not happy, but it's definitely not worried about this line where you instantiated a lion and assigned that to an animal type. It's happy here. It's not complaining about this line, but it's complaining about the next line, and that is because cannot find symbol lion.speak. It's not able to find this method, and the reason for that is since you instantiated a lion and put that into an animal type, when you call the speak method of this variable, it will search for a speak method here in the animal class because it is declared as type animal. It will try to find a speak method inside the animal class and it can't find one, and that's why it is complaining. So now let's go ahead and put a speak method here also. So public void speak, and since it's at the animal level, we'll put a generic statement, something like every animal speaks in its own way. Let's put the speak method. Now let's go ahead and compile this again, and now it's happy because now we added the speak method in the animal class itself. So now it's happy, it's not complaining anymore. And now I try to run this. So when I try to run this, let's see what we get as the output. So now when you run this class, what's the output you see? From the lion, we are actually seeing what is there in the lion class, even though you are now calling on the variable which is declared of type animal, and animal has a speak method which is supposed to print out every animal speaks in its own way. That's what is the message that is there in the speak method of the animal, but lion is the one which is having roar. What you see here, however, is Leo says roar. So what's going on? So what's happening is we instantiated an object and then we assigned that to a variable which is of the type animal, and when you call the speak method on that animal, it went and found the speak method which is sitting in the lion, and it did not really invoke the speak method that is found in the animal class. And the reason for that is since the lion class is actually having exact same speak signature, this is the signature of the method, and lion is having the exact same signature as that of the animal, it overrode the speak method of the animal by giving its own implementation. And so whenever you call the method on the object which was created with a specific child class, then it will always try to find if there is a same method in the child class which is overridden, then it will use that method. And that's what you see here. And now let us say you are going to remove this. Now you are going to remove the speak method in the lion class. And now let's compile and see what happens. And now what you see is every animal speaks in its own way. That's what is being printed out from this line. And the reason for that is, since the lion is no longer having the speak method, nothing is overridden, so it will use the speak method that is coming from the animal class, and that is why you see this line being printed out as there is no other option. Do a recap of everything. Now the animal class is having 3 instance variable and 1 method, a speak method, which is automatically inherited by all its children. All the children, since they are all extending animal, automatically inherit these 3 variables and this method. Because the variables are not private, it gets inherited, and the speak method is also not private, so this also gets inherited. So even though lion doesn't have a speak method here, it's inherited the speak method of the animal, and that is why when you call the speak of this lion instance, it goes and finds the speak which is in the parent class, and that is why you see this line being printed. However, if lion lands up having its own speak method, in which case it will override, so whatever the method that's there in the animal class gets overridden in the lion class. So in which case when you call the speak method of this lion, it goes and finds the speak method which is overridden in the lion class, and then it prints out whatever is there in the speak method of the lion class. So in the lion class, suppose you also want to call the speak method of the superclass, you could do so using the super keyword. Key in super and then speak. That's going to call the speak method of the superclass. Let's go ahead and run this. And now you see both of them printed. So the first line is coming from calling the super speak method, and the second line is coming from the speak method of the child class.